Yep.
20.
Hello, everyone. It's Fred Staab. Yeah, you're looking at some shots of the Bolt EUV. We're going to have a review of that vehicle coming up. Les, I'm trying to put you into one of them. I'm trying to get you to buy one.
Well, I know.
Can I get your business?
Well, sorry. I have many vehicles to test.
Are you going to be buying something today, sir?
Well, I'm going to be buying dinner later.
Okay. Well, we'll have that at the wheel review, and then we're also going to talk about some good news here. It looks like new vehicle prices are coming down, Les.
Yay! Finally.
0.00004%.
Hey, down is better than up.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you got?
Well, Europe is reiterating that the internal combustion engine is going to stick around for a while.
All right. Well, here we go. Stand by.
All right.
This is Cruise Control. Your on-air automotive magazine with co-hosts Fred Staab and Les Jackson. Everything you need to know about new and used cars. Industry news. We'll fix or repair your car on the air. Fasten your seatbelts and let us take the wheel. Now, your ride is about to begin. Because you're on Cruise Control. Cruise Control. Cruise Control.
Hello and welcome to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. It's Fred Staab and Les Jackson. How you doing, Les?
Great. You scared me for a second.
I'm just pumped up because the first story
yeah.
we're going to do is about new vehicle prices coming down, finally coming down. Used car prices are really coming down, but new vehicle prices are headed downwards as well. That's good news.
It is good news because the what's the best tactful word? The abuse people have been receiving from dealers is pretty much over. And over in Europe, they say the internal combustion engine is going to stick around for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, we'll tell you why that is and what bill is probably going to be signed really soon. And we're also going to tell you about why it's, well, pretty easy to sell Jeeps for $100,000. Remember how I said prices were going down, Les?
Yeah, you did say that.
I did say that. Yes, I remember saying that just a moment ago. But apparently a lot of people are buying them. How about that?
It's amazing. Their profit margins must... Anyway. Mercedes, speaking of profit, puts a price on its plug-in hybrid S-Class. We'll tell you what that is.
You know what's cool about this, Les? It will go 62 miles on a plug-in. Typically, plug-in vehicles go about 30 miles. 62 miles is...
62 miles is very impressive.
It's 62 miles. I mean, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Plus, there is a free fix for the theft issue that has been affecting Kia and Hyundai owners. That's good news.
Absolutely. And you have been in a Chevy Bolt EUV, and you're going to give an at-the-wheel review later on in the show. I'm anxious to see what your impressions are.
Yeah, EUV, it is sort of more of a crossover version of the Bolt. They're very close in size. Storage is the same. The EUV is about 6 inches longer, a little bit wider, a longer wheelbase, so a little more storage inside.
Kind of like a station wagon, Fred?
More like a crossover, Les. We don't use the station wagon.
I'm going to get you to use that word.
But yeah, EUV, great vehicle. A little bit less range than the large, than the Bolt. You know, because it's a little larger. So we'll talk about that. Would you trade off for that or not? But certainly, I believe the most affordable electric vehicle, the Bolt and the Bolt EUV, right now. If you want to dip your toe in, that might be a good way to go, right?
It would be a good way to go. It's a good car,
Great commuter car.
well equipped.
Yeah. So we'll talk about that. We'll have an at the wheel review. Les will buy 2 of the $100,000 Jeeps, and
Yeah,
we will
ordering
be right
it right
back
now.
on Cruise Control after this.
Cruise Control.
Welcome back to Cruise Control. Fred and I have good news for everyone.
Yay, good news.
And that is that the average new car price dropped finally in January after 2 years of not only raising prices, but sometimes usurious add-on markup, which we've talked about a lot, and we condemn it.
Yeah,
So there.
we've had people experience it paying $5,000 over sticker for Accords, and it's let's put that in the rearview mirror, right?
Exactly. However, there's not bad news, but the good news is tempered by the average American new car price fell in January to 49,388.
Wow.
Which is only 0.4% down from December's high.
Trending downward. That's what you could say.
They're going down, and they're going to continue because as production rates crank up, we're still at like 12 million, or rather 14 million new vehicle sales, and before COVID it was 16 million. So
right,
but it's coming back.
Yeah.
And the competition will work.
Earlier I misspoke. I said, well, car prices are down 14.5%. They're actually down 14.9%.
Oh, well.
This is according to Kelley Blue Book. And Kelley Blue Book says most of the non-luxury automakers like Chevrolet, Ford, and Honda saw declines in prices between 0.3% and 4.9% month over month. Others like Toyota and Ram didn't fall in line, though, with those brands seeing inflated prices of 2 to 5% over the sticker in January. I would not buy over sticker anymore, listeners.
No, please don't. Unless you're buying a Shelby Mustang or a something like that.
Yeah. Boy, Model Ys, Tesla Model Ys lost $13,000 in value overnight.
Well, I'm not going to say anything about that because
there are plenty of Tesla
nasty.
stories. We could do an as the Tesla turns,
Yes.
I think I'm gonna call an audible here, Les. I'm a big sports fan. Call an audible.
Okay. Listen, I know you live for.
So let's do an as the Tesla turns. This is an interesting story this week. Tesla must give other EV brands access to a SuperChargers network, its charging network, which currently is only Tesla. They have a different type of plug.
Of course.
If it wants billions in government funding. And I think this is great. According to Reuters, Tesla SuperChargers will need to support the industry standard connector if the EV maker wants to access government subsidies. And he's agreed to this, Musk, but he kind of done a bit of foot dragging on it. And somebody this month discovered that there are several combined charging systems in the SuperCharger network already with the plug. They just happened, I don't know how they happened to find it, but they did. This makes sense. And it will add, I believe, 1,500 chargers to the...
Which, it's well worth it.
They want to get 500,000 chargers very quickly, and, that's a good way to get 1,500 of them right there.
I guess he'll just have a little converter plug
I don't know. I think they're going to have a rewired, because what will happen to the converter plug if you just leave it clipped on to the...
It'll end up on my shelf.
Yeah, or end up like somebody will drive off with it and
Yeah,
it'll be
yeah,
hanging
you're
from the
right.
back of their
You're
car, you know?
Well, they'll probably just have to add another charging wire and connector.
Yeah, it'll need a little
So-
electrical work. That's what I
And, it'll be labeled Tesla, real cars.
And those with parts fastened correctly. Well, here's another Tesla story. NHTSA forces Tesla to recall over 360,000 vehicles with full self-driving over a crash risk. That's huge, isn't it?
Well, I have several very close friends at NHTSA, and I've been talking with them for the last year, and over drinks and over serious conversations, and they kept assuring me, listen, we're working on it. We realize that these things are dangerous. But we have all of this, stacks of paperwork that have to be filed and legal stuff, but they did it. They said, look, this stuff is not self-driving, and you're not gonna call it that.
Well, we'll get into that a little bit more when we come back. And Europe saying, yeah, internal combustion engine, stick around. You stick around. We'll be right back. So, Les, did you see that guy that was driving his Tesla back from the dealer? He had just picked it up and the steering wheel fell off.
Yes. I would recommend a good attorney.
Well, interestingly, first Tesla sent him. He took it back to the dealer. They repaired it, and they sent him a bill for over $100, which was that's rubbing salt into the wound.
That's yeah.
And so somehow, I think he just put it up on Twitter, and eventually he was contacted by Tesla, and they gave him the option to, hey, you can keep your car and we'll give you a little extra warranty, or you can turn that in and we'll build you another one. And he let everyone on Twitter decide, and they said, get another car.
I would just to make them suffer a little bit, I'd say take this car back, give me another one.
And you don't think they sold that one as a new car?
And before they picked up the car, I would put the wheel in my vise and mess it up a little bit. As a matter of fact, Fred.
Oh no, where are you going, Les? All right, Les is stepping away for a moment. I don't know what. Oh, okay. All right.
I kept the wheel. Here it is, right here.
Oh my. That looks like it's from a beach buggy or something.
No. I just made this.
Oh well, let's see it. Oh wow, that's cool.
This is for the '65 Corvair we're restoring. I just made this out of walnut.
Wow, that's pretty neat.
As you know, I've made several steering wheels.
Well, there you go. But yeah, I just think he did the right thing by getting a new battery. By the way, we also should talk about the Wienermobile losing its catalytic converter. Apparently, it's based on a Isuzu truck, and it sits a little high, and it was easy to steal.
Yeah, and driving it, and I speak from experience, is like driving an empty barrel. It isn't particularly pleasant. It's fun. Everybody loves you, but
yeah. 10. All right. Well, we're going to be right back, so stay tuned.
This it's not finished yet.
Cruise control.
Welcome back to Cruise Control, Fred.
Yes. Let's let's talk about the internal combustion engine and
yes,
Europe.
because in Europe, at least in Europe, probably equally true here, but the internal combustion engine is not scheduled to go away. There's no schedule. It's open-ended.
Well,
It'll
at
be
least until
developed.
2050, which is a long ways away.
That's a long ways away.
It has to do with synthetic fuels. Now, a lot of people are investing in synthetic fuels, Porsche being one of them. And the European Parliament has taken note of that and said, okay, well, we'll give that a shot. And whether it's hydrogen or e-fuels, synthetic fuels like Porsche is working on. So they're gonna give that a shot and see where it goes. What do you think about that? I think it's a good idea. I think everyone should think that the future will be cleaner. It may not be all electrics. I think manufacturers want electrics because they're cheaper to build, actually, or will be cheaper to build, less complex to build.
Yeah.
Once batteries get cheaper.
That's true, but the future needs to be developed with an awful lot of efficiency and cleaning up everything.
Yeah,
we're all in this, and there isn't going to be a single solution to fix what's threatening us. So, a combination of solutions is certainly going to be the best shot.
yeah.
And where it makes sense, you do this. Where it makes sense, you use electric. Where it makes sense, you use a bicycle.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, I get upset with people that, for example, they were upset that Toyota was talking about hydrogen and some other things, and fuel cells. And, you got to look at it as the big picture. You got to look at it as a big picture because let's face it, electricity has to be produced somehow, and it's not going to be all clean energy right now unless you go nuclear.
And that's going to happen too. You can't rule that out.
Are there any nuclear power plants being built?
There are now a few being planned.
Okay.
And they're using very much the same technology as nuclear submarines and carriers, which tend to be really reliable.
Yeah, reliable and last a long time. And actually, the new carriers won't even need to be refueled. They'll run for 50 years, and then, so you won't need to do the big refueling once or twice during its lifetime. Normally, they do it halfway through at 25 years.
Now, of course, you're not going to have nuclear-powered passenger vehicles, mainly because we tend to crash them.
Remember when they had a nuclear-powered airplane they were testing? I don't know if you remember
this. They did, and Ford actually tested back in the late 50s a nuclear-powered truck, which I nicknamed the model. I nicknamed it the Armageddon.
That's right.
But that's not what Ford called it. But it was just it was a design exercise.
Actually, too, I've seen prototypes of very small nuclear plants that are sealed in they look like a giant propane tank. They're that size.
That's the submarine design. That's the pressurized.
They can live. They could be put safely into certain areas, and you wouldn't even know it's there. So,
that's right.
You got to kind of think outside the box. It's not all one solution. It's not all windmills. It's not all. There's lots of things that you have to do. But anyway, I think this is a good thing. And if people disagree, please feel free to send us a comment on Facebook or YouTube or anything like that you want to. But I think the future is multifaceted, and it's certainly hydrogen. It's certainly synthetic fuels. It's all kinds of things. Classic cars, synthetic fuel might be the use for it, right?
And it's kind of exciting. It's sort of it'll be very much like the communications revolution of the last 30 years.
Yeah, exactly. So interesting stuff. So we'll keep that and look at that. Now, in the meantime, apparently, this is according to interview Carbuzz did with Jim Morrison at the 2023 Chicago Auto Show. Jim's been on the show many times. He's head of the Jeep brand. He has no problem selling $110,000 Jeep Grand Wagoneers. He said people thought they would have a problem with it, and they're not. They're coming out with a long wheelbase Wagoneer L and Grand Wagoneer L, and are continuing to add new customers to their portfolio. What about that?
I am not surprised in the least.
That's a lot of money.
I've driven the Grand Wagoneer at our Washington Auto Press rally.
Me too. I've driven that, and it's a huge machine, very luxurious.
And and I'm getting one to test for full test in a month or so.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a magnificent thing. I mean, I can't say anything bad about it other than it's huge and it's very expensive. But
yeah, and
hey,
you've got the Wagoneer and the Grand Wagoneer and the Wagoneer L. The Grand Wagoneer swaps the 5.7-liter Hemi for the 6.4-liter V8, 471 horsepower. And they've recently added the 3-liter inline-6 twin turbocharged engine known as the Hurricane as an available engine. And then they'll also have a plug-in hybrid variant using the 4xe monitor, which is a name that we're seeing all across the Jeep lineup.
It's just amazing.
Yeah. The Wagoneer is the kind of the difference between that and the Grand Wagoneer is the Wagoneer has no wood interior trim pieces.
That's the entry-level model.
That's the $71,000 865 entry-level model. And it also lacks the obsidian trims. The most expensive Wagoneer is the Series 3. That's the one that begins at $71,865. And then the Grand Wagoneer cannot be had for less than $88,640. Wow.
Well, there's a lot in them.
There's certainly, and you can put a lot in them.
You can put a lot in them, and clearly, a lot of people are buying them.
Yes.
I thought it would be a kind of a marginal product, but once again, I'm wrong when it comes to
the range of products of Jeep from the
phenomenal.
Yeah, it's just incredible.
Well, also, think about
from Wrangler on up.
But this sounds expensive. But look at the Jeep pickup truck. That's about $60,000.
Yeah, $50,000-$60,000.
And just a regular Wrangler is $40,000.
Yeah, it's very true.
This isn't really out of the ballpark.
I wonder if the Wagoneers are holding their residual value the way the Wranglers do. Wrangler, you can almost sell it for what you paid for it.
Yeah.
5 years later.
It's amazing.
So, interesting stuff. Hey, you're listening to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. I'm Fred Staab. He is Les Jackson. Coming up, we're going to tell you about Mercedes with their plug-in hybrid, which is pretty cool stuff. 62 miles of plug-in range. We'll also tell you about Hyundai coming up with a free solution for theft. Of course, they had the problem with the TikTok videos. By the way, I think after the balloon incident, TikTok is not long. I think that would be a little retaliatory.
I dare say TikTok. If you have any TikTok stock, I don't even know if it is, but if you do,
it might be time. Yeah. Hey, we'll be right back with more Cruise Control after this. Stay tuned.
Cruise Control.
And welcome back to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine, taking you on a ride around the automotive interests in an industry, new vehicles, new pricing, things like Les Jackson and his steering wheel.
That's right.
And a whole lot more.
I can't afford the whole car.
No, you can. It's a simulator. It's.
I'm buying parts and I'm going to assemble it.
There you go, one piece at a time.
Yep.
But we're glad you're along for the ride with us. We got a lot to talk about yet, including Mercedes announcing pricing on their all-new S-Class plug-in hybrid. This is a beautiful machine. I'm an S-Class fan. I like the big Mercedes.
I do like the S-Class. I don't like the prices of the S-Class.
No, that's a big thing here. But this is a plug-in hybrid, the S580e 4MATIC, and it has a 21.5 kilowatt-hour battery that will get you 62 miles of electric range. That is amazing. Most plug-in hybrids get about 30 miles of range. Most of them.
Yeah.
30, 32.
Do we know how fast you can drive it for that? It's probably not over 40.
I actually have that. I believe.
Oh, you do? Okay.
I believe it was 57 miles an hour.
Wow.
Yeah, I thought I saw that. With top speed electric, no, 87 miles an hour.
Wow, for 60 miles?
Is that kilometers or?
No, that's top speed. No, that's 87 miles
No, top
an hour.
speed is 155.
Right. Oh, top speed electric. Electric only. Yeah.
That's pretty fast.
Yeah, but I don't believe there's any way you can go 87 miles on that battery.
Oh no, you can go 62 miles.
Or 87 miles an hour.
But not at 87 miles an hour.
No, I suspect usually because you're using a lot of horsepower, and that battery is only about 35 horsepower.
And 3-liter inline-6 turbo is the engine. With the engine itself has 367 horsepower, which is not shabby at all, is it? An output of the electric motor is 148 horsepower.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So combined system output 510. That's plenty stout.
That'll get your attention.
Now I'm a fan of plug-in hybrids. I think they are the best of all worlds. You wouldn't even need typically for a battery that got you 30 miles of all electric. I don't even know if I am bother putting in a level 2 charger, because you could charge that battery overnight with a regular wall plug. You know, if you didn't want to, otherwise you could charge it up in about 2 or 3 hours, for a 30-mile range battery. But this one would require more time. But it has a 9.6 kilowatt-hour charger on board as standard for home and public charging, with an optional 60 kilowatt DC charger that is available for fast charging. So with that 60 kilowatt hour DC charger, when they say this is optional, I guess, what do they mean? That it's on board and you would have to plug into a DC charger. They're not talking about putting this in your house, are they?
Yeah, it's on, but you need to be able to plug in something that can power it.
Yeah, which I don't think your house would typically have.
Well, I suspect if you can afford a $122,000 car, you live in a house that
400 amp service.
Well, that's expensive.
Well,
But
anyway,
if
you can find this DC charger, you can charge that battery up from 10% to 80% in 20 minutes. That's not bad.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. It has the optional e-active body control. Active suspension is available. I'm sure that doesn't come for that $122,550. That will probably be additional. And
Probably.
the e-active body control operates on 48 volts, as does the hybrid system, I'm sure. adaptive rear compartment lighting allows for brightness, color, and temperature of the interior, and LED spotlights are adjustable in position and size for reading or lounge lighting. Oh, Les, calf
Why not?
massage function in the rear stimulates circulation and prevents fatigue. How about that?
It's a little bit. I've seen these. It's a little bit Las Vegas-y for me.
Yeah, some of the interiors are a little bit Las Vegas,
Yeah.
but nice vehicle. Nice vehicle.
Oh, it's boy, is it plush.
Let's talk about this. It's kind of an important piece for Ram owners. Ram is asking about 306,000 HD truck owners to park outside over fire risks. Involves HD pickups and chassis cabs with the 6.7-liter Cummins diesel that could catch fire. These are built from the model years 2021 through 2023 and have an intake grid heater relay that could overheat. They're going to have to do some rewiring on those vehicles. So if you have one of those, you may be seeing a recall notice for this.
Right. 6 fires they're aware of so far.
Yeah, so that's important. Over to Hyundai and Kia, they have a solution for the TikTok-related theft issue. If you recall, some of those vehicles were easy to steal. They showed how to do it on TikTok, and people would go around and smash them into things. So Hyundai is offering a free fix starting on February 14th, so it's already underway, and they will upgrade 8.3 million vehicles. That will mean you'll have to use the fob to unlock the vehicle. And they say this will take about an hour to work on when you're at the dealer, and it will eliminate the problem. And you'll get a sticker that says, the TikTok video method will no longer work with this car. It's been modified.
Good. Now, if they can just catch the guys that put that video up.
I liked it when they used to have the bait cars where someone would go to steal it, and then they would remotely lock the doors and it wouldn't start.
Yes, I like
And then the police cars blocked them front and back. That was kind of interesting. The guy's like, I wasn't trying to steal it. Really, you've got a weak case here.
Yeah. Well, exactly what were you doing? Oh, I was just borrowing it.
Yeah. Oh, this isn't my car. Oh man, I got in the wrong car.
Have you done that?
Ever gotten the wrong? I've forgotten what my car is when I have a press car.
No, with the press cars, it happens to me a couple times a year. I'll go to a car in the parking lot that's close by the press car I've got that looks either the same or very close, and I'll start to try to get in it.
Yes, I've done that.
Yeah, and it's embarrassing.
Yeah, but it's not like you have the muscle memory of having that car for 10
exactly.
years.
Exactly. And by the way, none of them have ever opened.
Oh, and hopefully no one said, "What are you doing to my car?"
No, fortunately.
Yeah. It's true. I mean, we drive, and I often think about this. How many cars does the average person drive in their lifetime, between owning them, between borrowing them, between renting them?
I would say 100 to maybe 200.
So certainly doing what we do, we are pretty unique. We have driven thousands.
We're in the between the weekly tests and the events we go to, we're at the over 3,000 in the years we've done.
Would have been fun to keep record of it, but it would have been.
I never thought about keeping a record of every car.
No, I have pictures of virtually every car I've driven, but virtually, but not. But yeah, it must be thousands and thousands.
Yeah,
I would imagine.
It's a lot.
Yeah. All right. Well, Thanks for listening to that little momentary thing, that lesson.
That's right. A little nostalgia.
A little nostalgia, but we're glad you're listening to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. Don't forget to check us out at cruisecontrolradio.com. Check out our social media, YouTube, Facebook, all that more. Keep you up to date.
Yep.
And always feel free to drop us a comment as something you'd like to hear on the show or something you'd like us to go through. We're glad to do it. Coming up, I am going to have an at-the-wheel review of a great vehicle if you want to dip your toe into the world of electric vehicles. This is the Bolt EUV Redline Edition, and we'll talk about that when we come back on Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. Still trying to get Les to buy one of these, but we'll see. We'll see if I can do it. Well, we'll be right back. And welcome back to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. Fred Staab and Les Jackson. We've got another at-the-wheel review this week. Les, we try to review as many vehicles as we can. This time, it is the 2023 Chevy Bolt EUV Premier. This one came in a very high contrast Summit White with jet black interior, and it was rolling on those black wheels with those red line stripes, little hash marks on the
Station
wheel.
wagon.
Well, first we should say, what is the EUV? You were like,
Yep.
well, there's the Bolt. I know what that is. And then what's the EUV? The EUV is about 6 inches longer than the regular Bolt. There's some visual differences on the outside. I think it's a little bit better equipped as far as on the inside with certain accoutrement. You can get Super Cruise on it. It's got a longer wheelbase. It's got, as I said, 6 inches longer. The storage is about the same. It actually might be just slightly less cargo room. 57 for the Bolt versus 56.9 for the EUV. And it's really hard to tell them apart unless they're sitting. If they're right next to each other, you could tell. There's a little bit differences in the grille and the lights and that. So they call that an electric utility vehicle. As opposed to the Bolt, which is just a car, a sedan, a little hatchback. But this was really nicely equipped vehicle. Black leather interior with red stitching. That's part of the Redline edition. And let's talk about some of the things that are new for 2023 on the Bolt. A lower MSRP of $28,195 for LT and $32,695 for Premier. That's a reduction of $6,300 per model. And by the way, right now, I was doing some reading. Right now, you can still get the full $7,500 deduction on this vehicle, which in some cases can make it almost come down to around $18,000, $20,000 when you factor in everything. For a brand new electric vehicle, the Bolt, I believe, gets 259 miles of range. The EUV gets, I think, about 30 miles less of range because it has extra weight. So you got to balance it off. I'd probably be happy with just the Bolt, for the range, but it's hard to say. Yes, the reduction is not that high. 259 for the Bolt, 247 for this EUV as tested. So let's talk about it a little bit. Of course, this is still a hatchback. The seats go down. You get good storage. The rear seat passengers had great leg room. It was a nice interior. You will recognize a lot of the switchgear. It is definitely
Yep.
right out of the GM parts bin and has been around for a while. Not a bad thing, though. I love the way the electric motor looked right up front. You get 200 horsepower, single electric motor with one-speed transmission, permanent magnet drive motor, 200 horsepower. But this thing moves along great with 200 horsepower. That it doesn't need any more. And I love the way it was packaged. I thought, wow, I'd like to drop that into something else.
That's very attractive. It almost reminds me of the electrical equivalent of multiple carburetors.
Yes, yes. You got good storage out back. You get a little storage underneath the cargo area, which is great. It comes with a charger. It is a level 2 and a level 4 charger. You just switch out these multi-pin plugs for the different plug. And I only used it on the wall plug, but I tell you what, it would be nice. In my estimation, you just have to get a plug and an appropriate 240-volt socket installed, and then you just use this charger. So that's a savings. Or you can plug that in and use 110 volts. Clean looks overall, like little hatchback. It's got the cool lights that go all the way back into the right, almost right under the windshield. The red line package, I'll tell you what that is. That is some striping on the wheels and on the tires. It was $495. Black interior with red stitching, black wheels with red accents, red and black rear badge, and red outside mirror stripe, which was basically a tape stripe. That's fine. That's okay. You could add that yourself if you wanted to. I don't necessarily need that and save $500, but this had the Super Cruise package, which that is your semi hands-free way of driving. I don't know if I would get that because you can only use it on certain roads, and that increased the price by $2,200. Sun and Sound audio system, Bose 7 speakers, stereo, and a sunroof, dual panel, panoramic tilt and slide. $2,495. Total price was $37,885. That is with options and a very affordable $995 destination, which is not bad at all. I love the way this vehicle drove on the highway. It was really, really a good performer. It would chirp the front tires every time I accelerated. Instant acceleration. Once again, if you've never driven an electric car, you don't know what you're missing as far as acceleration.
It's always a thrill.
Wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. Charging times. On 120 volts, you get 4 miles per hour, which is about standard. 240 volts, full charge in approximately 7 hours. So you think about this. You put a level 2 charger in, you come home from work, you start with 247 miles of range. It was great. On the inside, it had everything you wanted. Heated seats, front and back, heated steering wheel. As I say, Apple and wireless CarPlay. So really good. The switchgear, as I say, looks very familiar from other GM vehicles, but great graphics as far as how much power you're using and what the range is. Shifter was nice to use. It almost looks like the shifter out of the Corvette when you look at that.
It looks similar.
Yeah, so I'm not so sure that it's not. It had the one pedal mode, which I love. I use that all the time where I just lift up. It's like the go-kart, or the golf cart.
That's right.
You lift up and you come to a full stop. I love it.
Great in traffic.
I find using that all the time. I enjoy it, and you get better you get better regeneration with it too. So snappy infotainment system, as I said, great graphics. I think this is the car to buy if you want to get into the world of electric vehicles. Now, they did have the battery problem. That has been dealt with. That was an LG Chem battery problem. Notice the flat floor back there. It's real good room back there. That problem's over. It does use the older generation of batteries. It does not use the Ultium battery, but I think it's a good way to go right now. It would make a super commuting car. I think it would be fun to commute in it. So there you have it. That is the Bolt EUV Premier. I still think, though, I would probably go for the added range and lower price and just get the Bolt and not get the EUV. You don't gain a lot of storage, but you gain a lot of weight, And I don't really need Super Cruise. I think I'd keep it simple. How about you?
I would agree. For me, I would go the same way.
Yeah, but great little commuter car, and I think the battery issues are behind it because right now, that's critical. So
Yeah, that's true.
the next least expensive electric vehicle will probably be the Equinox EV, and that will be coming up sometime this year. So we'll have an At the Wheel review of that when that becomes available. In the meantime, it's time for me to say I'm Fred Staab.
I'm Les Jackson.
We are going to see you down the road.